to the Real Estate Distillery. I am one of your hosts, Charles Myers. I have John Benedictus and Matt Verdin here, where the deals brew and the good times pour. Welcome. Welcome. You guys want to say
welcome? He is fired up. He's fired up today. God, it's like
you guys gotta say hello. Like,
hello.
Don't just leave the people hanging. You know.
I mean, look, all that energy. I didn't know what to do with it. I mean, just saying.
Just answer them, and you'll be okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're here. We're here.
Yes. Welcome to the Real Estate Distillery.
Goodness.
We do want to welcome our special guests. McClintock Distillery was so gracious enough to let us record here. We have Braeden. So, Braeden, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Braeden Bumpers. I'm one of the co-founders of McClintock Distilling here in Frederick. And I've been a distiller for about 13 years. And I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but not super knowledgeable about real estate, and had a great time learning about some stuff with you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, welcome, Braeden. We'll give you a great applause here. Maybe not. I guess that channel isn't working. But, you know, technology. We had technological issues starting this thing out. So
It's not my fault this time.
it definitely is. Listen, for everybody that doesn't know, okay, we had more cameras to set up here, and Matt broke one. And that's our tech guy, by the way.
It is
He's
not.
our
It's not.
tech
It's
guy.
not my fault. It's not.
He's our tech guy.
He bought cheap stuff. So.
God.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, tell us a little bit about McClintock Distillery. Like, how did this vision come about? You know, you are the co-founder, so
Yeah.
we want to know, like, how did you go about getting into the alcohol business? Because
Yeah.
that's a great business to be in.
Yeah,
By the way.
I have the best job in the world. I tell everybody I wake up every morning, and even if you have a 13-hour day, you're like, can't complain about being a distiller. So, yeah, I think pretty much I went to school for agriculture, science, chemistry, and biology, and worked in a lab for a very short amount of time and realized I'm not meant for a lab, and immediately transitioned into the alcohol industry. Did some brewing, did some distilling at some big operations, and then about 10 years ago, my business partner and I are originally from Maryland, and the laws had changed to allow smaller distilleries to come and open here. And a lot of people don't know the incredible history and heritage of Maryland whiskey. So we came back home. We found this amazing 113-year-old building, built it out into our distillery, and are about to celebrate our 8 years open to the public. So we are Maryland's first and only organic certified distillery. We have a big focus on using locally sourced heirloom varietals of rye, wheat, and corn to make some really cool homages to a true, authentic Maryland whiskey here.
Hold on. I got two questions for
Yeah.
you. Number one, you said came back home.
Yes.
Where were you before you came back here to start doing this?
So I did my apprenticeship under Master Distiller Robert Bernecker in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a short stint up here, just kind of getting into the industry, learning about a lot of the ins and outs and the more technical side of distilling. But I never stay away from Maryland for too long, so we were excited to come back.
Born and raised in Maryland?
Born and raised,
Okay.
yep. Yeah,
Nice.
my business partner is born and raised right here in Frederick, and I'm from just down the road. So we really wanted to be in this area because it's just perfect for what we wanted to do.
He says just down the road. He's either doesn't want to admit he's from Montgomery County.
Yeah, I'm from Montgomery County. Yeah.
I could have chosen any other county in the state. You guys know that. Any other county in the state, but just down the road is.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I go to Montgomery County a lot, so
Yeah.
I know the problems.
I
Even though
like
I'm not from
Montgomery
this
County
area.
a lot too, but definitely could not afford to open a distillery
Yeah,
down there.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question out of that. My next question is going to be: you're using local source stuff.
Yeah.
What impact? What positive impact has it been on farmers in the area
Yeah.
that have maybe been like almost getting out, or like,
Yes.
what does that look like for you?
I think that was definitely something that was, we were looking first and foremost to make the highest quality product we can. And for us, that all starts with the raw materials you're using. If you use good grain, it's a lot easier to make good whiskey. But we found a lot about the agriculture industry as we opened and started working with farmers. And we really found, here in Frederick County, agriculture is still our #1 industry. And historically, it's been dairy. And
Okay.
I don't know how familiar you are with agriculture, but dairy has really been in a pretty serious decline for about 10 years. And so a lot of farmers, these are multi-generation, 4th, 5th, 6th generation farmers
Absolutely.
that have been in the family. They're having a really tough time paying the bills, either doing dairy or growing like commodity corn for Purdue chicken. And like commodity grains is like, I think last year it was about corn was 11 cents, somewhere between 9 and 11 cents a pound. And these farmers can't pay the bills doing that. That's like $600 an acre, best case scenario. That's not even property taxes, even if you have your payoff
Absolutely
there.
not. Yeah.
Wow.
So we have found this sweet spot with these like mid-sized family-owned farms that now grow for us. And I always tell, we get a lot of farmers when they hear we pay 50 to 60 cents a pound for growing the specialty stuff
listen,
for us.
Sign me
Yes.
Yeah.
up.
So I
So-
tell you what, farmers, if you out there and you're listening and you need a little bit of help,
Yes.
reach out to Braeden.
So we get a lot of people interested. I always tell them like organic farming is hard. It's a lot of work. You don't use pesticides or herbicides. There's a lot of more manual labor than a lot of the like more modern modified grains. But if they're willing to put in the work and do that and go through the steps to become organic certified, they can make a lot more money. And we're really lucky, both Maryland as a whole and Frederick County has a lot of really good agriculture programs to help develop these value-added agriculture products.
Speaking of agriculture,
That was legitness.
Yep.
we know
There you
Charles
go.
is around because he likes to use the
There
little
you go.
sound.
I like
bites all the
it.
time,
It's
so-
really fun.
There you go.
Hold on. We're going to get more legit for a second. So while we were getting set up and going through our technical difficulties, you mentioned what's getting ready to start here in Frederick County, matter of fact.
Great Frederick Fair.
You
this,
guys are gonna
this
be
week.
there?
Yes, we're there. Building 13 is the Frederick County Alcohol Expo building. So we have distilleries, wineries, and breweries from around Frederick County all doing samples and cocktails and pours of beer and all of that stuff. So it should be really fun.
One more time for the people in the back, building 13.
Building 13.
13.
Yes.
The building to be at. For
Yep.
those that don't know, focus on that. So,
Yeah.
And
We have-
when does the fair go? From what to what?
So the fair starts tomorrow, which is Friday, September 13th, I believe, and it goes until the following Sunday. So you have 9 days to be
yep.
out there, concerts, tractor pull, demolition derby, all the fun classic stuff. And it's this year you can now get a cocktail from Building 13, and you can walk around the fair with it. So
Hold
you can
on.
go play some games, get up on the Ferris wheel, take your drink with you. It's pretty awesome.
That sounds like fun.
I haven't been to the fair in quite some time.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, since the kids were younger and going to school, we
Yeah.
went because it was like Frederick County closed school for the Great Frederick Fair, right? So, ironically, I kept telling myself I'm going this year.
Yeah.
I'm going this year.
It's
I'm just
super
gonna
fun.
Let you know
It's-
that right
it's super
now.
fun, yeah.
So, what's new and exciting to McClintock? What did we just do? Like we spoke last week. What's
Yes.
the new stuff that just happened this past weekend?
So we released a new whiskey. So we have our core whiskeys, our Boot Jack Rye and our Matchstick Straight Bourbon that we make year round. Those are always available here, but we had a really, really special release on Saturday, which is our Husker Bottled in Bond Bourbon Whiskey.
Nice.
So
Let me zoom in. Let me go out to the other one. They're up there in the front. See the
They are.
box right there,
yes,
the Husker.
yeah,
That's the fancy one.
It's really cool. Bottled in Bond has an amazing history. It's the first time the federal government ever had a consumer protection law in place. It was some of the first like food and beverage regulations that were there to create these standards to make a really high quality product. Maryland produced a lot of them, and this product is the first bottled in bond bourbon whiskey made in Maryland since Prohibition, which is really, really cool. So it's a little piece of history we have here.
Well, I say we try it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's fine. Let's do that.
Let's take some samples
Pour
of
some
that.
of this out.
That's good stuff right there. Yep.
Charles is just like, hey now.
Hey, did you miss
What's-
me on the last episode? Yeah, you did.
Our inaugural episode that I love these little glasses too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are very.
These are what most distillers, professional distillers, this is called a Glencairn glass.
Yeah.
This is usually what we do our judging of whiskey when we're doing blends or evaluating how whiskey is aging out. These are great. I highly recommend.
We'll take
for
a 4-pack
new
to
whiskey
go.
drinkers. Yeah.
Oh. So, yeah, I got to put it up. Yeah. All right, let's give it a cheers.
Cheers.
Let's go.
Cheers.
Smells good.
So,
Wow.
That's good.
like all
That
bottled
is-
and bond, that's 100 proof whiskey, which usually they can be a little punchy, but this one is rounded. It's mellow. It's got some of those like chocolatey notes on the back end. It's really fun.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm getting that chocolate.
I'll be having another one before we're done.
Yeah. So we put this one. We were really proud of this, and this is the first time ever the Maryland, I think it was the Department of Agriculture, they did a Maryland's Best Whiskey. So they had all of the whiskeys in Maryland from the big producers and small producers all came in, and they had a panel of judges, including the Secretary of Agriculture, try through all the whiskeys. And we won best whiskey in Maryland with this one, which we're really
Nice.
excited about.
So
should be.
that goes into my next question. What's our award status look like? How many trophies we got to hang on the wall here at McClintock? Do we
We're-
have a show? Is there a showcase?
We have a bunch of our medals out there. We're really fortunate at this point. We've won double gold at the major international competitions for both our bourbon and our rye. We were really excited. 2 years ago, we were at the World Spirits Competition, which is the largest judging of spirits in the world. We were top 20 best bourbon and top 10 best rye whiskeys with these two, which we were really excited about.
I'm making sure to get Boone some camera time.
Yes, yeah. We'll get Boone in here.
So just going back to like your time in school.
Yeah.
What you're telling me is you're a mad scientist. So how many of these concoctions have you like thought of just in the wake of night?
Yeah,
Just-
I think
What
like
do your dreams look like?
there was definitely I have some 120 proof fig liqueur batches. Maybe we can try a little bit before you go here. So I think like part of the fun of having our own distillery and being a small distillery where 3 or 4 of us are making all the products here. We all have a lot of creativity. We all love coming up with new things that sometimes work great and sometimes that don't work so great, but we love pushing the envelope and trying new things for
Well, that's
sure.
mad science work, right?
Yeah.
So have you ever just came up with one and you're just like, what the hell was I thinking?
This was a good business lesson and distilling lesson is I'm a big history nerd. I love like a lot of the history of spirits in general, but also like what we have here in Maryland. And we got this document that was it's called a Dutch Genever. It's basically like before gin existed, there was this spirit. It's like a juniper infused whiskey. And our second year open, I got really into this. I made it. I thought it was super awesome. It's very unique. Nothing else tasted like it in the world. We put it out, and it took me 2 years to sell through one pallet. It was just nobody was into this Genever. So we realized when we come up with stuff, it's not just the weird esoteric stuff that we like. We want to make sure that other people are interested and, more importantly, can understand what it is when we release
Sounds
them.
like it's something you should have taken down the Maryland Renaissance Festival.
Yes, yeah, they would have loved it down there
And
for
like,
sure.
hey, for a discount, you can have it all.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you do with it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going on right now, too. So
Yeah.
a huge opportunity for that to go there. so.
That would be a
Yeah.
cool one. We've definitely done some distilled meads and stuff that I had a great time making. That there is a subset of people who really love this like kind of nerdy stuff. But most of our like big core brands, we stick to kind of like more classic style drinks.
How long does it take to make like a bottle?
So this product, the bottled and bond, is between 4 and 5 years to make that one. So basically, the
I wonder it takes a
distilling,
while.
yes. So it takes a
Yeah.
while.
wow.
So that one is a little bit longer. We have some products that have yet to be released that will probably be like a 9 to 11 year age. So definitely the hardest part of being a distiller is having the patience to wait. Yes. Yeah.
Patience, what did they say? Patience is a virtue?
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
got
what you're
no idea what
I was
that
about
means.
to say. So what you're telling me is I would never make it in the distilling business. That's what you're telling me.
It's hard
Just-
to taste something and be like, this is really good, but it'll be
get
better
right.
if you
When
give
it's
it
aged.
another
Right.
year.
It's like marinating the steaks or
Yeah,
whatever the case may be. And it's
exactly.
like, look, they just look good. I want to eat them
Yes,
right now instead
yeah,
of later type situation.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that brings you to a question then. If it takes that long, like when you started here,
Yeah.
what did you do, like to actually make any money to survive?
Yes. So we make whiskeys, vodkas, and gins. So vodkas and gins, they don't need to be aged. We actually do some barrel aged gins that do take a year or two, but our core gin, our Forager, is one that we launched with. Still to this day, it's our most popular product that we make. So we're best known for this really cool like Appalachian style gin. So we, for the first 2 to 3 years, we were really committed to making everything ourselves from scratch. We're not sourcing any whiskey or anything. So for the first few years, we were selling vodka and gin.
Oh, okay.
We also had a white rye whiskey, which was really fun that we just stopped making this year that I was very sad about. But we had to basically devote all of our still time to making these whiskeys now. So.
Hey, listen, and just so I know you weren't here, John, but me and Matt met with Braeden a little bit ago, was it last week or
Yeah.
so, and that was the comment that he made. Like, listen, I'm in the distilling business, so obviously I don't, I'm not in there for the money. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
it's kind of something along the lines
Yeah,
of that.
this is very hard
but
to make any money in this industry.
Hey, but listen, like this is a great location where McClintock is. Like
Yeah.
it's right off the creek. Like when events
Today's
happen,
Alive at 5. Isn't it?
I was
It
about
is,
to say when
yeah.
events happen, you're right here at McClintock. So like Alive at 5, people come in here and like, hey, listen, I need an additional drink.
Yes.
I got to get through these people somehow.
Yeah, we've loved like
a lot of people.
like the creek. We were very early on believers in the creek. Like in the early days, it was basically like us in the wine kitchen down here.
Oh, yeah.
And there was nothing further on, and so you'd see people. They'd walk halfway between Market Street and Carroll Street, and they'd turn around and they'd go back and like
Didn't
really
get down
like
here enough.
Right, exactly. So the first like year or two, we had very little foot traffic of people coming down here, but
You
we
need one of
really
those
saw.
balloons that went up and down.
Yes, that's right. That's it. Yeah, we definitely need to. We actually taled about like getting a big blow up whiskey bottle and putting it on the roof so you can see it from down there.
One of those men.
Yeah, that's right. So, but yeah, and it's been like, I think it was one of the better gambles we've ever made. And now there's 4 breweries down there. There's some restaurants, there's bars. It's really awesome. And there's a hotel being built here and everything else.
Oh,
we
that's
really
right.
see.
They are putting that one
It's
way
right
in,
across
aren't
the
they?
street
That's
from us. So, we love where we're at. And we love being in Frederick, and being a part of the community here downtown is really, really awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
I agree.
What shoot, I had a question and I forgot. It's the way my brain works sometimes.
Well, I think we need another drink then.
Think we need some more whiskey. You guys want to try some
Yeah.
rye whiskey?
Yeah,
Can
definitely.
definitely do this.
Braden, we're trying whatever you're pouring,
Yeah.
to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
This-
That's it.
this
By
one
the way,
is
I
go
have to teach tonight.
What the fuck was that?
Yes, we are drinking whatever you're pouring.
Chuck. I just don't know what to do with you sometimes.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about you sometimes. but-
So while we, let's take a sip first. I want to
Okay.
try this. So while we have this deliciousness that you just
See?
poured for us,
I do like a good rye.
Yeah.
See, I
that was
don't
delicious.
usually like rye, and I like this.
Yes,
You have
that
to drink.
was-
Hell yeah.
All right, so we got to be clear about something. I don't know if we told you or not. John's a tequila guy.
Oh, nice.
I drink a lot of tequila too.
Very cool.
But I'll drink everything.
Yeah, Charles and I just drink whatever's
Yeah.
around, to be honest with you. But getting him to drink the brown stuff,
Nice.
it's challenging sometimes.
Yeah.
So
We try
great.
to make stuff that's like, historically, Maryland was known for having a rye that was soft and fruit forward. It's not that punch you in the back of the throat like pepper bomb style rye that I think a lot of people associate with rye whiskey these days.
Yeah.
And so it is like I find a lot of people who are bourbon drinkers or tequila drinkers or people who are really not into rye that much that this is a great like starter rye,
yeah.
get you into it.
I'm not afraid of a rye.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
at all.
Rye's great. And
Very
this is like part of, I was in the industry for 7 years before I found out like the incredible like history. Like we were Maryland rye whiskey was the American whiskey, in the 1800s and
Oh, I
early
didn't know that. I
1900s.
didn't know that
So
either.
we were like one of the largest, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky were the 3 largest distilling states in the country. And rye whiskey was what we did. And you'll still see today, like Pikesville rye, those historical ones all started here. But it's really cool, and it's been forgotten about. And so we're really trying to work with other distilleries in Maryland to rebuild rye to what it was, and like really establish like Maryland rye up there with Kentucky bourbon, with these other massive categories of whiskey, which is cool.
I was gonna say, Matt. I mean, you looked at me. I'm just happy because 2 of the states that I associate with made that list.
Yeah.
I'm in Maryland, and I'm from Pennsylvania.
Hell yeah.
So, there we go.
Just don't
I'm
don't
just
hold
saying.
back. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Tell them where you're really from.
Okay, I'm from Philly, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, did you hear that? Did you hear his energy change?
it's a little different. There's a little bit of a difference. I
Doesn't
get that a lot.
Philadelphia have a wall around it so the rest of Pennsylvania doesn't have to deal with it?
No, that wasn't in the budget either.
Oh
No,
my
that's
God.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, that could be.
It's a steel wall too.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
That was stupid.
We're going to have people coming down from Pennsylvania to kick our butt real soon.
You know what? Hey, they can come meet us right here in McClintock. As long as they come here and try
We'll get a
McClintock
drink
stuff,
first.
we're good.
We'll get a drink
Right.
first, and then we
Yeah.
can fight.
Exactly. Everything's going to be just fine. I remember my question. So you said Appalachian or
Yeah.
So who knows the right way to say it?
Appalachian.
Appalachian. So here's the reason why I asked it, because I literally just saw TikTok the other day.
Yeah.
And it was like 3 different versions of people were saying, because
Yeah.
everyone's got their like slang to it or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. So when you said it, that TikTok came to my mind. So
100%
I think Charles is having a
Appalachian is
seizure.
the correct way to say it.
I'm not. I'm just baffled. You said TikTok. You're
What's
on
wrong?
TikTok. You're on TikTok.
I'm not the oldest one at the table. You got to know that.
Yeah. I'm the
Who's
rookie.
the oldest one?
You
I'm the
got
rookie. So
yeah, that's right. You're the rookie.
get it.
Remember?
hey,
The rookie.
hey, the rookie is on TikTok. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying. I'm on TikTok. John's not.
No, I'm not.
John can't spell TikTok. So you guys, is McClintock on TikTok?
No.
What?
We're on Instagram and Facebook.
And the Facebook.
The Facebook. I am not the person. I am not on any social media. I don't. That's beyond my
What's
understanding.
your social media skill set there, Braeden?
None. 0%. So I don't really
Hey, we
understand
partnered the
how
right
it
two
works.
people up
Yeah.
there.
Yes, you did.
These two sit next to each other right now. It's
Yeah.
like perfect.
Yeah, that's it. We have amazing people at the company who are great at doing social media, and I trust them wholly to do everything and leave me out of it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's good to
so
do.
Speaking of the lack of experience,
Yeah.
we had a conversation previously also about your real estate experience.
Yeah.
And it was, it's not your house.
That's correct. I live in my wife's house that she purchased, and again, she works. I'm always proud of it. I always come home and tell her, I'm the houseboy. I'm there to cook dinner and do laundry and make lots of good cocktails, and I'm okay with that. So.
What was that experience like? Like, so you're not the only one.
Yeah.
It works both ways, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Depending on the situation,
Yeah.
one person can make more than the other, or both go all
Yeah.
in. But there is that environment where it's like I mean, obviously we already determined you don't make any money here.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, if you want to help out, just real quick, you can get used barrels, $70 and 120, I
Yes.
think,
That's
depending on
right.
the size of
Yeah.
it. So I will be leaving with one at some point. Not today. I don't have room to do it today.
Yeah, I have no
and
space.
I'm actually leaving Saturday to go to Kentucky.
Oh,
Manifest.
nice. That's awesome.
I meant to say that a minute ago because my dad explored the internet and found the Mammoth Caves. Have you ever heard of those?
No.
Neither did I. But he found out these Mammoth
Matt's
Caves.
in for a treat.
I'm in for a big treat. And my mom says, "Will you take us?" And I went, "Okay." So I'm leaving tomorrow, driving down to my parents in Virginia, and then we're making the road trip to Kentucky.
Cool.
And I will be hitting Makers.
Nice.
I'm a Makers guy.
Love
so I'll be
Makers.
doing that. So
Yeah.
all right, back to the other side of the world. I had to say it. It just popped in my head.
Kentucky is amazing. I always tell people, like, if you haven't done the Bourbon Trail, do the Bourbon Trail. It's fantastic.
That's all I ever hear, and it's like now I have to get down and get a little piece of it at the very least. Type
Yeah,
situation.
Makers
So,
is a great tour, so you'll have an awesome time down there.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get some perks. I did register as an ambassador with them because
Nice.
they have that status thing.
Yeah.
So I got little business cards and all that
Cool.
stuff years ago. So I'm hoping that I can use that in my favor when I get
Yeah,
down there.
they'll let you
They're
dip
gonna
a
throw 'em
bottle
out.
for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, what is this?
Yeah, that's true.
Did I say that?
John got jokes today. See, Andy Griffith's got something to say. You never know when it's going to happen.
But when they come,
I'm just saying,
they're zingers.
Barney, right? They're singers. So what was? Let's get back on track because I derailed it. So let me bring us back on the
Yeah.
track. So what was your experience like in your house buying?
Yeah.
Like, did you go and look? Did you do any of it, or
Yeah.
did you just say you do whatever you want to do and I'll be there?
I actually, she was out of town and sent me the listing. Said, "Can you go look at this house?" We had been looking for like a year in like 2018, and we have a dog, and we were living in a very small house with really no yard in Frederick, and we wanted some place that he could run around in the backyard and stuff. And we found one, and like I said, I have some experience doing like renovations and fixing some stuff. So I was looking, it was like, hadn't been touched since probably the 1930s. It was like super dated. But a lot of it was just like easy, it was like
Upgrades.
all easy upgrades, you know, like a little bit of lighting changes, a little bit of like easy framing. And I'm a big gardener. I love gardening. And it had a huge backyard that I've now built a greenhouse in back there as well. So
Nice.
I said, "This is great. I'll grow you this many plants if we can be there." And she signed off on it.
Okay.
Hey, and listen, you got in at a great time. You said
Yes.
2018,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was right before some madness. In the real
Yes,
estate
we
market,
definitely
so.
said you will not be able to pry us out of this house. So
Depends where it is. I got somebody looking right now.
yeah,
They're getting desperate. Can you be out in 45 days?
yeah, that's yeah. We've always talked like I think we moved in there, we got married in the backyard, and we always said
What?
like we're gonna be buried back here. We love this place.
In the
So,
greenhouse.
in the greenhouse. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we love living in Frederick. It's so awesome here.
So, in that process, so you were involved. What were some of the pitfalls or maybe the problems that you ran into?
What's
you
that
didn't-
movie with
Yes.
Tom Hanks, Money Pit?
There was definitely one. I didn't realize how hard it was to remove wallpaper. So it took us like I was like, oh, we'll just pull this
if
down.
it's early 1900
Oh
wallpaper.
my god!
That's on there.
That was definitely one that I thought was going to be a one-day
those fancy
project.
house.
That was like a week and a half project.
Yeah, you know
It
this
was
fancy stuff they
good.
got out now called Gorilla Glue?
Yeah.
Try the early 1900s wallpaper glue and
Yeah.
tell me what you think.
It was a lot. I had to like go out and I came to the distillery and built like a low grade acid and like used that to like strip some of it. And even then, like it still didn't get all of it out there.
See,
so.
mad scientist. Listen, I can spot one when I see one. Mad scientist.
It's always
Yes.
work smarter, not harder,
Yeah,
right? So if
exactly.
the acid can do the work for you, you just let it do its thing.
By the way,
whole
that's
wall goes.
I was gonna say that's one of the recipes that didn't make it to the production line. By the way. Oh my God, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so what were your pros? What was something you learned? Let's go with just the process
Yeah.
of the buying process.
Yeah.
You went out, you looked at the properties. How was that? What was the good or bad around that exploring type situation?
I think part of the reason that we were able to come in and like get it, because I mean, 2018 it was Frederick was a super competitive market,
Yep.
and they had done almost nothing with staging or like there was no overhead lighting, and they had taken all the furniture and lights out, so it was really dark on the inside. They had these like very old like curtains, so it was like really not showing the house well, but we could kind of see the potential there. And so I think with staging and some other stuff, they probably could have gotten a bit higher price, but I think they were just like ready to go, getting it out there. And so we came in with the same as somebody else, and my wife and I wrote the owner a letter about how we were like young, we wanted to like get married and raise kids here and all of that stuff. And I think like she said, you were not the highest offer, but I liked your story, and so yeah, that helped us out, I think.
I'm glad that worked for you because
Yeah, doesn't always work.
you
Well,
can't do
you
it
can't-
anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore.
Well, it doesn't work. It's actually kind of illegal now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man.
The premise behind the love letters, as we called them back
Yeah.
in the day, I did them early on. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
John
Oh,
did
I
them
got
too.
my first house that way.
Yeah,
I had
our
my
real
own-
estate agent like strongly recommended
yeah.
us doing this. So you can't do that anymore.
No,
Huh?
yeah,
That's
that's
interesting.
a no-no because by doing that, it's a fair housing violation. Because, like you said, you mentioned bringing up like raising our
Yeah,
family
yeah,
here
yeah.
type situation.
Yeah.
Now you're getting in the familiar status of fair housing that violates fair housing. So once you disclose that part, if they choose you over somebody who's single, now you still got to
Interesting.
prove it.
Yeah,
Somebody's
yeah,
got to be
yeah.
offended and all that. Don't get me wrong. Yet we've the past almost 3 years. Actually, it might have been actually been more than that. Actually,
It's
but we've really pushed away from actually doing those completely because
Interesting.
of the chances of violating certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of veterans used to do it too.
Yeah,
like a lot of
that
veterans
makes
used
sense.
to get
Yeah.
in and do love letters, but yeah, it's a no-go anymore.
That's interesting.
Another good point that you made about like your house, which I think, you know, obviously I'm speaking for the young generation here. No shots fired, but you know, a lot of
What are you trying to say? I mean, how old do you think Braeden is over here?
I looked at two individuals. I'll just say that. But
If I was in charge of that soundboard, I'd cut his mic off right now.
good thing it's over here. But you brought up a good point as far as like a lot of people don't see potential anymore in house. Like they want to come in and see everything just done,
Yeah.
which is how we advise nowadays too. Like
Yeah.
as far as staging and like hey depersonalize and things of that sort. So yeah, that wouldn't fly these days.
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess it didn't really fly back then either. You know, with the hey, you could have got more money if you just staged it appropriately. But
Yeah.
patience is not as we learned, patience is not a thing these
Yeah.
days. I don't have any either. So
Yeah.
No, all you young bucks don't have any patience.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
damn sure.
I don't. Yes, that is correct. I want success right now.
I feel like my father now when I just said that.
Yeah, I look, Charles. I want it now. What are we on, Willy Wonka?
Oh,
I want it now, Daddy.
Hey, that's my spirit animal. That's
Willy
my
Wonka
spirit.
is your spirit animal?
That's
No,
that
just
kid.
just the one that turns it. What?
That
She's
kid,
the one
yeah.
that went down the golden goose thing and went
Yeah.
down to the thing and got burned up in the. Well, that's the theory at least. She wasn't the one with the bubble gum that turned into the had to
The
go to the
big
juicy
blueberry?
room. Yeah, go to the
Oh,
juicy
I
room.
love that one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're showing age now. So. All right, Charles, what do you got for us over there, buddy? I mean,
Yeah. No, so like you brought up another point. How long have you guys been at this location?
So we signed the lease to move in July of 2015,
Okay.
and then we opened December of 2016. So we've been in this building for almost 10 years, and then been open to the public about 8 years.
Okay, and you said this building has been around for 130 years.
13 ish. So
Okay.
we found some of the records, I guess. Apparently, City Hall burned down sometime in the 70s, maybe, or flooded or something. So there is a city plat that shows this building was definitely not here in 1912, and then in 1915, it definitely was here.
Nice.
So somewhere in that space
Yes,
is
they
where it
built
came
it.
in at.
Yeah.
Nice. So, you know, with that, and again, we had a conversation, and you said that you were part of acquiring this building, purchasing this building. With this building being so old, what did that process look like? Because I can imagine you had to deal with like historical aspects
Yes.
and things of that sort. So,
Yes, definitely. A lot of inspections, a lot of different things to look at. We definitely, we're really fortunate that our mission, like when we came in here, we really wanted to build out a lot of the like historic elements of this place. So originally this building was actually one of the first auto mechanic garages ever in existence. So this was like 5 years before the Model T was invented. They were fixing up like some of the first cars here. And when we had come in, it was like kind of a art studio and event space, but it was, you know, fairly run down. And what we wanted to do was kind of bring it back to that original like garage type aesthetic with some really nice like modern touches to it. You know, I've heard from other business owners in downtown Frederick that the Historic Preservation Society can be like very overbearing, but we had a delightful experience dealing with them, fortunately, because I think they really liked like what we were trying to do, and we were able to like restore and keep a lot of the historic elements here, because it's a amazing building. The history is incredible here, so we did want to keep like as much of that history as we could. We even have our big garage doors here. We found these beautiful heart of pine beams that were hanging in the rafters that you can see they used it to mount like an old grease gun to way back in the day, and it still had like the marks on it, and we took those down and used those to frame out our garage door, and you can still see the grease mark on there, which is really cool. So like there's little bits of history here, and you know, we found the original sign. You know, we it's so interesting. Like part of the reason I love Frederick is the buildings here. Everyone has an incredible history, and looking in and finding all of that is a lot of fun. We like doing it.
Nice.
Yes.
That's the exciting part for me, is keeping the history.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been here when you guys first came in.
Yeah.
Like it had to be just kind of a hot mess. But
It was
just
like,
really
drop
cool.
ceilings. There was carpet everywhere. The
wow.
floor was kind of collapsing in on itself.
Yeah, if you haven't been here, by the way, like it does not look like anything he's talking about right now. This place is very nice. It's all original brick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love brick homes and brick structures, and this place is just really just open, big high ceilings. I can see it being a garage. It makes sense.
Yeah. So even that sign back there, and I know people out there in virtual land can't see it, but that sign, was that the original garage?
That
sign
was
as
the
well?
original sign.
Nice.
So we were basically the mechanics garage, and where there's a company called the Emporium Antiques up here that is a huge antique place, but that was the showroom. So they were selling cars and at some point motorcycles up there, and then this was where they would fix them up. So, as we were doing renovations, we were always finding like old,
You could get more
license
money than that
plates
than you're
and-
making right now. Just
Yeah,
like old car
most
parts,
definitely.
like
Most
any of those-
definitely.
Yeah.
You could make more money doing pretty much almost anything else besides making alcohol. So, much better uses of the space, I'm sure.
I mean, I didn't see that one coming. That was pretty good.
So with this, so you mentioned you kind of had a good experience with the historical aspects and things of that sort. But coming from a contractor perspective,
Yeah.
is there anything you had to do creatively to preserve the historic and meet the regulations and things of that sort?
Yes. Yeah, we definitely, by the timeline, you can probably tell, it took us 18 months to open. So we decided early on we either could keep it open quickly and really blow out our budget, or keep it on budget and do as much of the work ourselves as we could. And we're really fortunate. My business partner and his family were super hands-on in that process. They helped us out with a lot of the figuring out framing and permitting, and we learned a lot of super valuable skills of plumbing and framing and doing some of that stuff. That I'm so grateful that I'm able to do this stuff now. And when we go through it, it's great because if something breaks down or something is not working, at the end of the day, it's our responsibility. We built it, so we can probably figure out how to fix it, which is really awesome. So yeah, definitely very hands-on and very slow, so slow. So I think those are the two ways that you can do renovations, on budget or on time.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's one of those people on TikTok. Again, I'm bringing up TikTok that I follow. And it's one of those construction things, and the foreman or the safety guy comes over, he goes, and he tells him, I said, I want this fixed, I want it running, and I want it safe. He's like, you get to pick one.
That's fair. That's fair.
Good.
And then he's like, what do you mean? I want all three of them. Then he hands him the bill, it's $120,000 or something, to meet all three. He goes, 20 minutes and a couple zip ties, it's out the door. Which one you want? It's done. And I'm like, that's accurate. Seriously, that's the way it rolls. So, you guys got any questions?
I think for the most part, that's all that I have. John, I'll
No, I was just good.
John said, when are you pouring again?
Well, yeah.
What was the third
Well,
thing?
yeah, that's
Yeah, I
we're
want to try
gonna
that
close
other
it
one.
out.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, we're getting ready to
do the
close it out.
bourbon. Finish up with the bourbon here.
So yeah, we definitely appreciate it. It's definitely a lot of great drinks here. When we came and visited, you provided us with old fashioned as
Yeah.
well. That was absolutely delicious. The presentation was amazing. So
Yeah, then Charles and I went out to Brewers that night,
Nice.
and their old fashioned is made with your stuff.
Yes,
and
yeah.
he's like, I have to have one of those.
Yeah.
I think he had 4, but that's a whole nother
I,
story.
I love that
And then he blamed
because
me for it.
it
I
really
did.
showcases like same whiskey, an old fashioned is usually 3 ingredients, right? Same whiskey, you can make 2 completely different cocktails based on like, what simple syrup you're using, the bitters you're using. Like I love, because I'm the worst bartender ever. I love trying what other people make
what
with
I
the
do.
drinks. And that's a great one to showcase. Like the bartender makes a huge difference. And we're lucky to have the team that we do have here.
So on that note, what local places can they find products of yours?
So a lot of here in Frederick, a lot of the local restaurants you can find our stuff at. Just going down the creek, Wine Kitchen, Truth and Beauty, Hooch and Banter, Brewer's Alley, Pistaro's, Isabella's. Like most of the restaurants carry at least some of our products. Definitely, if you're ever in a place and they don't have our stuff, you can always ask for it, and we can bring them some. But I think we're so fortunate that the community here is like that. That the restaurant community is really connected
100%.
to the beverage community. It's like, really special. I think that's one of my favorite parts about Frederick is like that community is incredible, and it's not like that. I've talked to distillers from all over the country, and a lot of them struggle to build that, and we were super fortunate that we came into a community that was already very, very resilient here.
yeah, I love Frederick for that aspect.
Yeah.
It's a big community here.
Yeah.
Like we all support each other.
That's right.
Which is one thing I absolutely love about this area. So.
Yeah.
100% agree. I was just going to say the same thing. It's one of those things that you just I don't know. You don't get it everywhere. Like you said, I'm a little shocked that other breweries, distilleries, and things like that in other states and stuff struggle with that.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the small businesses.
It
right?
is.
So if you're not supporting the small businesses, then what are we really doing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's like a very collaborative environment, which is, I've definitely seen places where some breweries or distilleries will like really go against each other and try to like cut each other's knees out and do products and like all, it can be very cutthroat. But it's not like that here.
Yeah.
It is like, we recommend to go to some of the other local places. They'll recommend here. We do like collaborations where we're working together to make a product together. It's really, really cool.
That's amazing.
And another reason that I think is like it is a very special community here. It's super collaborative.
That's what I was going to ask is collaborative. Have you partnered with any breweries for anything, the breweries or the wineries,
Yes.
such as like a red oak barrel for
Yeah.
your stuff? Like what does that look like?
So
real quick?
we produce a tremendous, as you mentioned, we do sell them here as well. So we make about 200 barrels of whiskey every year, and for bourbon and rye, you have to use a new barrel every
Correct.
time. So they're making these for us. We have collaborated with, I would say, if you're in Frederick or around this area in Maryland and you see a rye or bourbon barrel aged beer, there's a high likelihood that it was ours. So some of my favorites here in town, Matriarch from Old Mother is aged in our rye whiskey barrels. It's fantastic. Both Attaboy and Idiom have used some of our used tequila and gin barrels, which is really, really cool. Sapwood Cellars, they've taken, we make a product that is a gin aged in XO cognac barrels. They submitted it to the Brewery Association. They did a sour beer aged in it. And they won Best Beer in Competition at the American Beer
Nice.
Awards this year with that one, which was really cool. So, it's again, that community and those collaborations is awesome.
what it's all about.
It is, yeah.
Right.
And we do a lot of work with wineries too. We've done stuff with Linganore, Catoctin Breeze, Black Ankle. where they will bring us some excess wine. We can distill it into a neutral spirit, like basically either a brandy or vodka, and then they use that to fortify their dessert wines, and that's how they make their like port and dessert wines. And it's cool because that's like 100% contained in Frederick County, which is awesome.
Are you confused yet?
Well, no, I just was all of a sudden both of you were like, wow. It was like stereo. Wow.
No, that's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah,
That's what it's about?
I
So
learned these things from the winemakers. Like, I didn't know how dessert wines were made or anything. And they're like, can you distill this brandies? Hell yeah, we can. It's a lot of fun.
Never say no. Just,
That's right. That's right.
I can
We'll
do
give
it.
everything a shot at least once. For
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can strip wallpaper, I can do anything,
Yes.
people, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Right.
and just well, to end the real estate thing. So, what advice would you have for anybody going out looking for real estate? Because you know nothing about it.
Yes.
So, what advice would you give to somebody who knows nothing about it?
I think something that we tried to tell ourselves when we were going through was really like, be patient and wait until you find something that you truly like are excited about. Because I think there was a ton of times where we were looking at something and we were like, well, this is fine, you know, this is better than where we're at now, and like it's okay. And we had to keep going and be like, let's just wait. You know, it might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years, but doing it once is a lot easier than doing it 4 times in 10 years. And I think it's very tempting to like go forward with something that you're so on. And I think we really got super lucky that we found a place that we really just like loved.
Old contractor motto, right?
Yeah.
Measure twice, cut once.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So,
He's coming up with all these old sayings.
I have so much to say right now. There are so many things going through my head. So, real quick, remind me, your first child is on the way?
on the way in
Correct.
December.
Nice.
And my business partner just had his first
That's
child
what it was.
2
I couldn't
weeks
remember which
ago.
one had it. That's right.
Yes.
Huh,
That's right.
Something about that number,
So-
too.
Yeah.
Something about that number, too.
I don't know.
So, the patience that you keep talking about, I think it's going to pay well for you as a parent.
I hope so.
Or we're going to test them.
Yeah. Really strained my patience to that.
Charles is testing that as well.
Yeah.
So,
Gonna need 2 times the patience, I think.
he's testing everyone's patience, even his wife's from time to time.
I think she's learned to ignore him just based on what I've seen.
That's probably a valid response. It's probably
She
the
is
right
quiet. Yeah, every time I see her, she's very quiet. I wonder what she's like at home.
Listen, she's learned how to ignore me. Like if I'm going off on a tangent or I'm like flipping out about something, she's like, "Yeah, okay. What are we doing for dinner?" So like, it's built into her now. Like she doesn't pay me any mind. Yeah. So,
Well, Braeden, I want to thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a joy to be here.
Thank you
and
for having me
sampling
on.
what we have, and we'll hang out for a little while after we're done here, obviously. But if you guys haven't been down to McClintock's, even if you have, come back. We have the new Husker. It's very good.
it's delicious.
And if you've been shy about the rye, don't be shy about the rye.
good.
You,
Yeah.
you heard it from the tequila guy, to
Yes.
be honest with you.
Very much a tequila person, and he's like, "Man, that was delicious." So
Hell yeah.
that tells you something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Oh,
But
hold on.
before we jump off, tell everybody where they can find you on like socials.
Yeah. So we're on Instagram and Facebook just as McClintock Distilling. We have a website. You can sign up for our newsletter. We also do a suite of like educational classes ranging from short history, 1-hour Maryland history classes, all the way to full day hands-on distill your own whiskey courses. So you can find those on our website. And then also you can book tours, tastings, all of that here. We have our main distillery as well as our back bar, craft cocktail lounge next door.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I don't want to keep going, but I meant to bring that. Look, I got called on my watch over here. I wanted to bring that up. It's
Yeah.
not just the tasting room here where you can come in and do this tour of here, but if you just go down the little alley piece back here, you guys got a little cave.
Yeah, little speakeasy type cocktail
Exactly.
lounge.
Like
yeah.
low ceilings, dark, nice bar area and stuff like that, and all the brews are there. So yeah, go out there and check out go check Braden's concoctions. It'll strip your wallpaper.
They're much better bartenders than me are doing the cocktails over there. They have great recipes and make some awesome stuff.
definitely enjoyed the old fashioned we had when we were up here
Wonderful.
last week.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Well, Braeden, we definitely appreciate you allowing us to come record here, film here, talk with you about, everything that you're doing here at McClintock, as well as have a little bit of a real estate discussion. Family, that is all we have. Again, you can find us, the Real Estate Distillery, on all of your places where you get your podcast from. And check us out on social media, the Real Estate Distillery on Facebook and Instagram. We are also on Threads, right? I think we're on Threads.
yeah, I think we finally got the threads going as well.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's the Real Estate Distillery as
TikTok's
well.
coming.
Yeah.
I think we need to hire you guys to do our social media for McClintock. Got everything going.
Yeah, we try to keep abreast on all of them.
Yeah, but he's the millennial that doesn't know anything about being a millennial.
I don't. Listen,
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm
listen,
with you.
I'm telling you, if you looked at my socials, I'm like not on it. I'm just on there to snoop on people. That's it. That's all I'm on there for. I promise you I am. It's it. All right, family, that is all the time we got. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Braeden, thank you again, and we will see you next time.
What's up, Real Estate Distillery family? We hope you enjoyed that podcast. Sorry for a little bit of the distortion in the main camera. We thought it was all we focused, but it turns out it actually did not focus when we started the podcast. So sorry about the distortion, but hopefully you enjoyed the content. One thing we did forget to mention at the end of the podcast was our next recording location. So we will be at Covalent Spirits on October 3rd at 5 p.m. We hope to see you there to see us do our live recording and actually come out and have a good time with us. Until then, family, we'll see you then.